Hi, I'm Robert Cassiopo. I'm producing artistic director of Florida Rep. And I'm sitting here in my office at Florida Rep, and as I do, I can actually hear young actors and actresses participating in our conservatory program, our summer camp. Reaching the young people in Fort Myers and Southwest Florida is one of our biggest initiatives, and I'm quite proud to say that about 5 years ago we were reaching 3,000 to 4,000 young people, and this year we'll be reaching 15,000 young people. There's a lot of things about having young people participate in theater that we all know. Children that participate in theater do better in grades, and I think they have an empathy for other people in situations, because after all, every time you see a play, you see a different set of obstacles that characters are going through. Also, it's creating not only the subscribers of the future and the young actors and designers and stage managers of the future, but also the donors, because obviously the arts need supports, and I have no doubt that some of the 12 and 13-year-old children that are rehearsing right now will someday be actors and subscribers and donors and board members, and maybe even someday will be sitting in this seat running a theater like this. Each year, Florida Rep also, for children that can't participate in our camps or can't get to Florida Rep to see a play, we take 2 or 3 productions that we create here at Florida Rep, and we tour schools and daycares and after-school programs throughout Southwest Florida, reaching literally thousands of young people with our programs. And this has been something that's been going on since our origin, one of the programs we're most proud of. So if you can't come to us, we can come to you and bring theater right to your doorstep or right to your children's doorstep. When we were offered by the city of Fort Myers this beautiful building, the Arcade Theater, we were sort of proud to say that Thomas Edison and Henry Ford used to come to this theater to see the movies that Mr. Edison invented. But when we came down here 15 years ago, I sort of had a joke about downtown Fort Myers that I was always waiting for the tumbleweeds to come rolling down the street. But Florida Rep and Fort Myers is another example of how often first the arts come into a community and then other economic development follows. At this point, Florida Rep brings almost $2 million of economic impact into the downtown Fort Myers area. Since Florida Rep has come in here, the city of Fort Myers has totally renovated the streets and put brick streets and beautified the area. They created last year a new waterfront. We've had other arts organizations, the Art of the Olympians, less than a stone's throw from our front door, as well as the Burn Davis Art Center has been created since we've come here. Half a dozen new restaurants have come in here, as well as Art Walk and Music Walk and other events. So while it was 15 years ago an area that no one was really coming into, now it's a vibrant area where Florida Rep brings up to 70,000 people downtown each year to see our work and to enjoy this beautiful new downtown area that's not a place that people are afraid of anymore, but a place that we need more parking. We are very honored that the Wall Street Journal 5 years ago decided to fly their chief critic, Terry Teachout, down to Fort Myers to see a production of Dancing at Lunasa that we produced. Lunasa was obviously a very difficult play and a very beautiful and poetic play, but not a play that a lot of regional theaters do, especially in bad economic times. And I think Terry Teachout, when he heard that we were doing it, said to himself, what's this? A town in Florida, a town he never heard of, Fort Myers, was doing a Dancing at Lunasa, and so he decided to fly down here and see it. And he called the work, our work, profoundly satisfying. And he ended that review telling everyone should come to Fort Myers where the weather is warm and the theater is fine. We're very appreciative of the Wall Street Journal and Mr. Teach Out for their continued support of Florida Rep. He's been back 4 other times since that first review, first calling our production of You Can't Take It With You, which he pointed out that a lot of theaters are shying away from doing casts of 20-person plays and only doing 2- and 4-person plays, and he pointed that out. And there was supposed to be a production to come to Broadway right after our production, and he said that Florida Rep had set the bar high for Broadway to beat. And then the following year was Air Gurney's Sylvia, and after seeing his 3rd production, he told the audiences with assurance he could say that Florida Rep was one of America's top repertory companies. 2 years ago he saw God of Carnage, where he called it better than Broadway and called one of the performances in the play as good as it gets. And then last year he came back this past season, in our 15th season, to see Our Little Foxes, which he calls superlative. For the last 15 years, Florida Rep, in our mission statement, our goal is to nurture an ensemble of actors, and we've done that. We have a group of actors, designers, directors that have formed real bonds with Florida Rep and come back each and every year. But the one thing that we want to do more of now is nurturing the playwright. That was the one sort of artistic position that we haven't nurtured. So starting in our 16th season, we are going to commit to doing a world premiere each year and start developing new plays. Last year, we was very excited. We did the second really full production of a new play by Tom Dudzik called Miracle on South Division Street, which not only was a big success, it was the biggest success in Florida Rep's 140 play history. And this year coming up, we're doing a brand new play by Stephen Sachs called Heart Song. We're delighted that we'll be giving our audiences a chance to be the first audiences in the country to see new plays, and giving playwrights an opportunity to see their production here and see not only what we do with it, but how we create around the work that they've given us. Our main theater is the Arcade Theater, which I mentioned is a historical building and actually a beautiful 393-seat proscenium house. One of the things that everyone mentions about our theater is how acoustically alive it is. I mean, it's a great space that you can whisper on that stage. It's the kind of theater that they don't build anymore, and it really is quite remarkable. But sometimes the one thing that we can do with the theater that films can't duplicate is getting our audiences close to the action. And I had a dream 15 years ago. We have a rehearsal hall that we've been rehearsing our plays. I always thought that this would be a perfect second space. Unfortunately, there was a 5-foot cement column that was right in the middle of the room that prevented us from doing work, and I knew that it would cost us $100,000 to renovate the space. So it was a dream that we were wanting to happen, but couldn't happen over the last decade and a half, until thanks to a very generous board member who made a $100,000 donation, and an anonymous family foundation that made a $50,000 donation. Last summer, we totally renovated a second space. And now we have, besides our beautiful 393-seat proscenium house, we have a beautiful flexible black box, and we opened it with a play that celebrated Fort Myers' roots, a play called Camping with Henry and Tom by Mark St. Germain. What this second space also gives us is that some shows should be seen in a proscenium house. Lend Me a Tenor, or a show, or a classic like Arsenic and Old Lace is going to be best served, I believe, in a proscenium house. But there are some shows that you want to get close to the audience and get that intimacy, and this second space allows us for that intimacy. An example of that is the wonderful play The Fantastics, the musical, is a show that I would never have considered in the 400-seat theater, because it's a show that it would get lost in a theater like that. It gives us an opportunity to give more work for artists, to do more diverse work, and to give our community a chance to see different kinds of plays to celebrate the variety we have of people that live in Southwest Florida.